Good morning. It is Sunday, January 28th. Listen, we are going to have a dynamic program today. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. P.I.L.L stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. And if you can understand these four banking principles, you will then understand how you can eliminate all of your debt in about 7 to 9 years. 30-year mortgages, credit cards, student loans, car loans, whatever you have. If it carries interest, I guarantee you're paying way more interest than you need to. We are live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And if you want to get this content, that's where you need to be. So let's switch on over and listen, when you get to YouTube, please do what they always say. Go ahead and subscribe, like the videos, and listen, give us that thumbs up. We love getting those thumbs up. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, folks, listen, it is important. If you're going to understand the difference between the P.I.L.L method and the debt snowball, if you've heard of the debt snowball, put a number 9 in the chat. If you've heard of the debt snowball, put a number 9 in the chat. Okay. And if you haven't heard of the debt snowball, a way to eliminate debt, put a number 5. Put a number 5 in the comment section. And so I'll know where to start. I see a thumbs up already. Come on, everybody. 9. Okay, we've heard Sovereign Seas has heard of it. All right. So we've got somebody else that's heard of the debt ball. Somebody said 5. They did not hear of the debt snowball. Okay, let me quickly go over the debt snowball for you. Okay, so with the debt snowball, here's what it means, ladies and gentlemen. It means this. If you have several debts and you want to pay off the debt faster, the debt snowball is a way to do it. All right. And this is how people have said in the past they should do this. You take the smallest debt that you have, all right, the minimum payment that you have on that debt. And then once you have that minimum payment on the debt, and then you add something to it. How much extra can you put on that debt each month? Then when that is paid off, then you take the minimum payment and the amount that you are paying extra on that debt, and then roll it into the next largest debt. And you snowball that. And when that second one is paid off with that extra money, then you take the minimum payment from that debt, add it to the snowball, and then you roll it on to and pay off the next debt. Okay, that's what the debt snowball is. The problem with the good thing about the debt snowball, it makes you feel good about paying off those debts. You're actually accomplishing something. All right, and you are paying off your debt faster. That's the good thing. The thing that's not so good is this. It's going to cost you if you have a mortgage, it's going to cost you $50,000 to $70,000, maybe even $90,000 in interest more than you need to pay, because the debt snowball does not pay attention to interest cost. Okay, so we're going to break this thing down. We're going to jump right in right now. I need you all to take a look at my screen here. And when we see the screen, it'll make, I'm going to give you some idea of what we're talking about. Okay. So with this in mind, we're going to take a look at an amortization schedule. And for some of you, you're looking for the bank to provide you an amortization schedule. Listen, you could make one on your own. So what we're going to do is give you this. I use this as a teaching tool. We're actually going to put it in the chat for you. Okay. And so that you guys can have it. You need to have this. Play around with it. Do some of the examples that you see on the videos. Go back, rewatch some of the videos, and do some of these examples yourself and get a better understanding of how loans actually work. All right? So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jarvis. Good morning. I can't even pronounce your name, but the last name is Nwonuma. Good morning to you. Good morning, Bobby Bo. Good morning, Sovereignty. Good morning, M. Bolden and Sharon M. Jones. And Bobby Bo, come on. Good morning to you all. And tell us where you're from, everybody. So here's what we've got. I put in a $420,000 mortgage at 6.5% interest. And here is the payment. I also put in a $10,000 credit card at 27%. Here's what we need to understand about the debt snowball. All debt should not be treated the same. And stop looking at interest rate, because interest rate is a liar. There is more to this thing than looking at interest rate and making a decision on what you should do. You see, now listen, you're going to hear a lot of advice on the internet. You're going to hear a lot of advice on TV, on the evening news, on your local news, when they come in and try to give you some advice on finances. Here's what you don't do, ladies and gentlemen. If they're not showing you the numbers, if they're not showing you why what they're saying is true, do not listen to it. Just don't. Okay. You have to be shown the numbers to make sure that this makes sense. So I have a $10,000 credit card at 27%. And everybody I know, everybody I've ever heard will tell you, if you have a 27% credit card and a $10,000 balance, and over here you have a 6.5% mortgage, 6.5%, every financial guru that I've ever encountered will tell you, you need to get rid of this $10,000 credit card. And some of you, when you saw $10,000 at 27%, some of you, just had a bad feeling come over you and says, I always pay off my credit cards. I always pay them off. So here's what you need to understand. When you look at this, you need to know, how much interest am I paying this month? What is my interest consumption on this loan? What is my interest consumption this month on this loan? I need you to see this and understand this. First of all, the amount of interest that is due, here it is, the interest only payment is only $225. So, well, Don, $225, that's still a lot. But take a look at the interest on the mortgage at 6.5%. This is why you need to stop looking at interest rate and start viewing interest cost. Here's the interest cost on this loan, on the mortgage, $2,275. So already you can't trust interest rate. One, you're going to pay $225. The other, you're going to pay, just in the first month, $2,275 in interest. So if we're going to follow what everybody else is telling us, they're telling you, take what you have, make sure you pay that off as soon as possible. And let's just say you're one of those who pay off that credit card every single month. Do you know how many people have come up to me and said, Don, I never pay credit card interest? And they're so proud of that fact. And they think I'm going to chime in on that. But I'm going to say, you never pay credit card interest? Well, how much interest are you not paying? That's an interesting question. I'm avoiding credit card interest on my credit card, but how much interest did you avoid? And the answer always comes back, I don't know. Or they'll give me the interest rate. Well, I'm not talking about the interest rate. I'm talking about how much interest did you avoid by paying that off in dollars and cents. The answer is, I don't know. Well, if you don't know how much interest you're avoiding over here by paying that off, how do you know then how do you know you couldn't have saved more interest if you had put that money somewhere else? And now the wheels start to turn. Okay, the wheels start to turn. All right, watch this. We're looking at I'm going to pay this off. I'm going to pay this $10,000 off and save the $225. I need you to take a look at this mortgage and first understand this. Here's what you need to first understand on a $420,000 mortgage at 6.5% interest rate. The full payment is $2,654.69. That's how much this family pays every month for the mortgage. All right, every month for the mortgage. All right, I have five people who hit the thumbs up. All right. Oop, there's a sixth person. Listen, keep hitting that thumbs up. And also, we're going to talk about joining us here on the P.I.L.L Method channel in just a little bit. So you need to start. If you know somebody who is a Dave Ramsey fan, if you know somebody who uses the debt snowball, you need to invite them to this video, to this live right now. And if they can't watch it right now, at least come and watch the video replay later. Okay? Watch what we're doing here. Watch what we're doing here. The very first payment, 379 of those dollars goes to principal. That means that pays the loan down by $379.69, but $2,275 goes to interest. So next month, it gets just a tiny bit better when $281.75 goes to principal and $2,272.94 goes to interest. I need you to take a look at payment number one. When you make the payment this month, you are all done. If you take a look at next month's principal payment, which would be on line 2, the $381.75, don't you know that if you had it, you could prepay that, meaning you could pay the bank an extra $381.75, okay? $381.75 just one time. Prepay that before the next payment is due, and you're paid down to line 2 on this amortization schedule right now in this same month. You're already paid down to here. So your next mortgage payment next month is actually on line 3. You have a payment every month, but we skip right over line 2 with only $381.75. And I need you, listen, if you don't hear anything else today, because sometimes I talk fast. If you don't hear anything else today, I want you to hear this. This family paid $381 early, $381.75 early, and eliminated $2,272.94 in interest they'll never have to pay. They just eliminated $2,272 in interest. Over here, if they had paid off the whole $10,000 in 1 month, paid off the whole $10,000, congratulations, you just saved $225. Folks, this is what Dave Ramsey is teaching. He's teaching people to focus on the small wins and feel good about paying off something smaller, when in fact, they're going to be in debt longer and it's going to cost them more money because they're not paying attention to the interest cost. It's practically criminal to keep teaching that. Okay, let me show you what else would happen. Okay, now let me go back to the mortgage. Now we paid $10,000 over here and we feel real good about paying off the credit card and the $225 we didn't have to pay, even at 27%. 27%. I paid that off. Now I'm taught to feel bad about the 27%. But no one ever taught me that on $10,000, all that means is $225. But somehow, in baby step number six, the mortgage is always last. I'm paying off all of this debt. What if it takes you you have 15 years worth of debt, and by using the debt snowball, you pay off your consumer debt in 2 years. Fantastic. You pay, instead of 15 years, you paid off your consumer debt, all of your consumer debt in just 2 years. But you left the mortgage to last. Let me show you what happens in 2 years on this mortgage. You paid $54,000 in interest over here in just 2 years. $54,000 in interest in just 2 years, because we are taught to ignore the interest cost and just focus on the small wins. In my book, I ask the question, how much do you want to pay for your good feelings? Because the debt snowball will definitely give you good feelings, but you're going to pay through the nose using that system. Okay? So now that we know that I can get rid of one line for only $381.75, do you know I could get rid of 2 lines worth of interest if I pay this one and this one? All right, a little over $700. See, we're not even talking about $10,000 yet. The $10,000, we would pay off the card and save $225. We're not even talking about that yet. Oh, by the way, you should be seeing a link if you're here on YouTube. You should be seeing a link at the top of the chat. All right, and in the chat body itself, you need to come to the stage. All right, and I have Robin Knox here on stage. Robin, come on up. Listen, I am so sorry. I'm just talking my head off, totally ignoring you. Will you forgive me? Miss Robin, are you there? Okay, Robin, I can hear you.
Okay, very good.
All right, you want to turn down? Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Did you have a question or a comment?
Well, a question more because we're looking at the snowball.
Yes. All right.
And then you have an alternative, so I'm interested to see what that is.
Okay. Well, listen, if you have a question about what we're going to go over, please chime in with your question. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Because listen, questions from our audience really makes the show. All right. So we're going to go ahead and mute your mic for now, but we're going to go ahead and then continue to go. All right. So listen, did you see that, folks? Robin came to the show. All right. You could do the same. All right. Come on. I need you in here. So watch this. I'm going to pay my mortgage here. I'm going to pay my mortgage here. All right. And then I'm going to give the bank an extra. Remember, if I can pay off $10,000 at one time, I can certainly pay an extra, $700. And guess what? That's $4,400. That's over $4,400 in interest savings I don't have to pay. $700 saves me over $4,400, $4,400 in interest I never have to pay. Isn't that phenomenal? Have you ever thought about it this way? So let's get down. Let me break it all the way down. Are you ready now? We're going to break it all the way down for you right now. If I can pay $10,000 to pay off this card to save $225 in interest, there it is, $225. Okay, $225. Then what would happen if I took that same $10,000? And I need you to take a look. This is why we use Brett Whistle, okay? Because he gives us 2 extra columns on the amortization schedule. Like this thing, love it a lot. Love it a lot. Great teaching tool. Cumulative principal and cumulative interest. Do you see that? Cumulative principal and cumulative interest. So it's easy to add up how much principal you pay and how much interest it would cost you. It's also easy to see, if I prepay the principal, how much interest I could save. Okay. I already showed you what would happen if you prepay one of these. All right. What would happen instead of giving the bank, giving Visa that $10,000? What if I decided, you know what? Let me pay Visa the minimum payment this month. And I'm going to take that $10,000 and put it on this mortgage instead. We're going to go down cumulative principal. We're going to scroll down very slowly so we can see where we get to $10,000. Look at that. If I take that $10,000 that I owe Visa, I knock off 25 payments. My next mortgage payment the next month is actually on line 26 of my amortization schedule. And I just saved about $56,000 in interest, Mr. Ramsey. Why are we telling people to focus on these smaller debts with the smaller interest cost? Why aren't we helping people pay less interest so they can get out of debt even faster? Because here's what we're doing, folks. If you have a budget, you've got your budget here. And out of your budget, guess what you're doing? What most Americans do, the average family pays 35 to 39% of their take-home pay just on interest alone. Therefore, when you make your payments, too much of your money goes to interest. Too little of your money goes to principal. So what if you had a plan? What if you had a plan instead that says, let's focus on the interest and let's not pay the interest. Therefore, more of your money would be going to principal out of your current budget. Because I need you to focus in on this. This is another thing that you need to hear today. Every time you make a payment on your mortgage, you're adding to the equity. That's the difference between what the house is worth and what you owe. And every month you're creating equity. Look at that. Every month you're creating equity. Well, call it potential equity. We'll call it potential equity because anything could happen in the market, and houses can lose value as well as increase in value. But as they're losing value, they never do that very long. All right. As a long-term play, real estate is always going to make you great returns, even if you consider the down years. All right. So interest made off of real estate. Love it. Real estate. So, but I want to show you this. Every month you're adding to that equity. But if you do it the bank's way, guess how much that equity is costing you this every month? This one cost me $2,275. In the fifth month, I paid $387.98. I just got $387.98 more of equity, but it cost me $2,266.71. I need you all to tell me. I need you all to put something in the chat that would tell me if you believe that $2,266.71 is too much money to pay for $387.98 worth of equity. You tell me, do you think that's too much? Put in the chat. Yeah, yes or no. You think that's too much? Put a yes in there. Okay. If you like that amount, just put no. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I think we should be paying the bank $2,266.71 for the privilege of paying my loan down by $387.98. All right. Look at this. Look at this. Listen, I see you, Patty. I see you, Patty. Okay. Patty Lance, listen, I see you. And I see you, Amari Parks. Amari, let me tell you something right now. Okay. I listen to everybody. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to tell you about Amari. Amari always, when our stuff hits the internet, when the new show hits, Amari is always sharing it with her people. All right. Amari, do you have one of my books? Do you have a Pill Method book, Amari? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Let me know. Okay. Do you have my book? I know it's a delay here, so hopefully she'll put it in there. So I want to make sure she has my book. So I don't care. I'm going to send you another one. I'm going to send you another book signed by me. Okay, I'm going to sign it, autograph it, and I'm going to send it at our cost to you, and you can share. All right. Oh, she says, I bought for friends too. Thank you. You're definitely going to get a book. Please, info@thepillmethod.com, info@thepillmethod.com. Make sure you send us your address and we're going to get a book out to you just because you're so faithful in sharing the Pill Method message. Thank you so much. All right. All right, I see Ken Russell in here. Great learnings, Don. I see you here. All right. And M. Bolin says that's way too much money. Now, here's what I need you to see about this $381.75. And this is very important. Here is the bottom line. Here is what makes this so powerful that no one is teaching, not even at the university level. When you prepay this $381.75, now you can prepay any amount that you want. I'm just picking these principal payments because they're just easy to pick on. I don't care if it's $10 or $15. We can figure out how much interest you save even with $25. All right, but I'm just using this number because it's easy. I don't have to do any extra math. The math is already done for me. So if I do 381.75, I've just gained more equity. But if I pay the 381.75 when I choose to, not when the bank wants me to, I don't have to pay the corresponding $2,072.94. I get my equity for free. Put free in the chat right now. Put free in the chat right now. I get my equity for free. Does that make sense, everybody? I get my equity for free. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I get my equity for free. So now that you get, okay, I see it in there. I see free. Listen, if you do this, if you just take $4,694 of that $10,000, all right, and put it on here, I get $4,694, and I get this one almost free. Now, if I pay it the bank's way, I have to pay $27,000 in interest to give them $4,694.51. I haven't even given them the $10,000 yet. I've only given them $46.94.51. But if I do it the bank's way, they want $27,000 in interest for me to do that. Well, if I do it this way, if I pay all of this in 1 month, then I only have to pay them $22.75 instead of $27,000. That's a big difference, a huge difference. And this is what is not being taught to you, everyone who uses the debt snowball. It's faster than doing nothing, but it costs you big time because no one is talking about how much interest it saves you. So Serenity 2020 put something in the comment section. All right, let's see what she has to say. Serenity has to say, it can be hard for people to picture the long-term savings. Could you elaborate on how much that matters, even if you think you will sell your home in the next 5 years? Well, that's very good. That's something to think about. Okay. So if you're going to sell your home in the next 5 years, all right, and it says, and there are people out there that says, well, if you're going to sell your home in the next 5 years, why pay anything extra? Just make your payment. Okay. That's 60 months on this loan. Very good. Very good, Serenity. Let's go down 60 months. 60 months is 5 years. Okay. In 60 months, you've paid your loan down by $26,834.20. How much interest have you given them in that time? $132,000. So in 60 months, ladies and gentlemen, in 60 months, this is how much you've paid out of your hard-earned money. $132,000 for 47.20. That went to interest. Here's how much went to principal. So we're going to add it together. 26,834 and another 20 cents equals 159,000. Here's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. $159,000 paid out, but out of all of that money, only $26,000 was added to your equity, and 132,000 of that went to the bank. That's if you ignore what we're telling you here and say, listen, I'm just going to sell my house in 5 years. And here's how much you still owe. $393,165.80. So if you sell your house, you got to sell it for at least that. Okay. And so hopefully you do have $26,000 in equity. At least you can get that back. And maybe, just maybe in 5 years, that because of market conditions, your house increased in value due to market conditions when we take a look at comparable properties in your area and see what they're selling for. Okay. So maybe you got a little bit more. Here is why even in 5 years, this matters. In 5 years, this matters. If I put $10,000, if I put $10,000 on this loan, all right, that $10,000 I was going to use to pay off the credit card, I'm already in the first year, even in the first month, I'm here. I've already knocked off 25 payments. I've already saved 56,000 of those dollars I don't have to pay. So I've got this $10,000 in equity nearly free. I only paid about $2,200 in equity and interest to get this much equity. So I don't have to do anything else for a while. Okay. So maybe, let's just say I'm here and I don't do anything for the rest of this year. All right. So I'm going to continue. I make 12 payments. All right. I'm going to be down to here. I'm going to pay some more interest. All right. And then what if I give the bank another $10,000? Okay. What if I give them another $10,000? Okay. So I'll go from, I'm already here. All right. And I'm going to go down to another $10,000. I'm at 404,000. All right. That would be 394,000. I'd be down to here. Look at this. There it is. Okay. And that's just in just a little over a year. It normally would take me 5 years to get here, but now I'm here in just a little over a year. So by the time, if I keep prepaying, if I have a system where I could prepay, do you know that if in 5 years, I could literally be down to about here, where I only owe 272,000, and I didn't pay nearly $207,000 to get here. Okay, I'm here for about 25 grand in interest. I can get down to here for about 25 grand in interest instead of $200,000 in interest. So I get more equity, I get it faster, and I get it cheaper. So if I pay my house, if I sell my house in 5 years, boom, this is all I owe now. Instead of ignoring the fact that I'm going to sell it in 5, just make the minimum payment. Does that make sense, everybody? Does that make sense? Let me see here. Again, I'm sorry. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name. Okay. Because I don't want to get it wrong, but you're asking, does this apply to car notes? Yes, it applies to car notes. In fact, I'm going to put it up in an example here in a minute where we have credit cards, car notes, mortgages and everything. All right. So Robin Knox says, so are you always paying any extra you have into the mortgage? The answer to that is no. I'm going to tell you what we actually do. All right. What we're doing is I'm just giving you some basics so that you know that this is true. All right. So Robin, as you can see this, does it make sense that you can save this amount of interest with a little bit of money? If you can see that, then we can talk about the strategy it takes. I have not even talked about strategy yet. I'm just teaching you what the bank is doing to you. I've not even talked about the P.I.L.L method and how it works yet. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you some strategy. I'll show you some strategy here in a minute. All right. But I need people to understand the basics, because if I go straight to the strategy and I can tell you that for $10,000, you're going to save, 50 some $1,000s in interest without giving you any background, it's kind of hard for people to wrap their mind around that. That's why I got to start where I start. Okay. All right. So let me read the rest of it. It says, and the minimums on credit cards or alternative, which gets any extra dollars in interest. Okay. How do you address both mortgage and credit cards, or do you? Yes. Yes. How would you like to know when is the right time to put money on the mortgage and when is the right time to put money on the credit cards? What if there was an AI powered computing system that told you exactly what to do and when and which loan to attack? What if we had something like that? Okay, you didn't have to do any thinking. You just plugged the numbers in and just updated the program. Here's how much money I'm making. Here's how much money I'm spending. And then if you could do that, you could know which loan to attack and which loan to leave alone. How would you like to know that? All right. So, folks, let me tell you, I'm going to go get a drink of water here. And so I've got a new commercial I want to share with you. And we did a conference not too long ago, and I want to play that for you while I go get a drink of water. Okay. And I'll be right back to tell you the rest. How many want to know how to pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years? You can do all of this without refinancing, without change to your budget, without sacrificing lifestyle.
Me and my husband do the P.I.L.L method, and last year we were able to pay down $33,000 on our mortgage without feeling like we were poor. We still did tons of entertaining things and enjoyed our family.
You don't have to eat beans and rice every day. You don't have to cut up your credit cards. You don't have to drive a 30-year-old car. You don't have to sell pizzas at night to pay off your mortgage. All you need to do is pay the bank less interest. That's what we're talking about today. Here is what P.I.L.L method stands for: prepayment of principal, isolation of principal amounts, leverage, and liquidity. You understand it? You have a way of getting out of debt more efficiently. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. You think you're buying a $500,000 home. The true cost of that home is what? $758,000. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 51.777%. That's what's going on with this loan. The ability to read and defeat an amortization schedule is not taught at any level of financial education. I need you to understand the power of a penny. You will not hear what I'm talking about from Dave Ramsey. Do you know why? Because I own the copyright. I literally wrote the book.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about the P.I.L.L method, go to ice10k.com, ice ice10k.com and then get a savings and earnings report for free. We're going to put that up at the later in the show. But ice10k.com, you'll see a button there that says get a savings and earnings report. With that report, you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt-free on all of your debt, even a 30-year mortgage in an average of 7 to 9 years. Boom. I mean, that is phenomenal. And you don't even have to sacrifice lifestyle. We're going to optimize the use of your current budget so that you can get more for paying less interest. That's where you need to focus. You don't need more money. You just need to pay less interest. So that's what we're going over here, folks. This is why this is so important to understand this question. I'm not going to pay, I'm going to pay the minimum on this card this month. So my question is this: would you pay $225? Would you pay $225 in order to save, all right, here it is, $56,000 in interest? Would you pay $225 if you knew you could save $56,000 in interest and knock 2 years, 24 payments off your mortgage with the same amount of money? Folks, if you like that, if that sounds good to you, you need to put a fire emoji in the chat, put something in there. I need to see a few more thumbs up. Listen, because right now we only have 6. All right, listen, give us this video a thumbs up. It's free. All right, this is good information. And if you believe it, go ahead and put a thumbs up. Put some fire emojis in the chat. You know, talk back to me. Come to the stage. We would love to see you on stage and hear your comments. Okay. So now that is there anybody that's watching the show right now? Is there anybody that's lost or doesn't understand? Because we don't want to move forward. All right. Strategic secrets. I love it. All right. I don't want to move forward unless everybody's up to speed. Okay. Do you understand prepayment of principal? Do you understand a small amount of money can kill a ton of interest? And we should stop paying attention to interest rate and totally focus on interest cost and how we can manipulate it. Okay? By understanding an amortization schedule, by learning to read this thing, you can then understand what our technology can do. The P.I.L.L method, opportunity cost calculator. All right. It is a cloud-based, AI-powered computing platform that takes all of your finances and then gives you prompts like financial GPS. How would you like a system that said, if you just move this much money in this month, on this day of the month, on this particular loan, you can save this much interest? How would you like to know that? All right. How would you like to know that? Oh, my. All right. So, this looks like we have to go ahead and put some restraints on our program here. Okay, because we got links coming in. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know what that. I see what you did. Okay, I see rockets. All right. And he says, okay, I know what that means. You want to go to the moon, Ken. Ken, you want to go to the moon? So he says, listen, take this information to the moon. Come on, over the moon. I need you to watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this as we get into this right here. Here is the P.I.L.L method, opportunity cost calculator. There it is. We're going to go over some scenarios, and if you can think of any, just let me know and we'll run those. But I'm going to show you some differences here by using the debt snowball in this system so that you can see the difference in the numbers. Okay. So it says Sovereign C says, seems one of the differences with P.I.L.L versus the debt snowball is that your plan will work for those with extra cash to make payments. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, sovereignty, because it is, when I talk to people, 99% of the people we talk to underestimate how much cash they actually have. Okay? Underestimate the amount of cash they actually have after paying their bills. So let me give you an example of that. All right, let me give you an example of what we have here. This is John and Rebecca Jones. And we're going to go through this slowly because, Sovereign, that is a very good observation. So we're going to take a look. This part of the program is called our action plan. This is where we track all the income and all the spending. We track all of the income and all of the spending right here. Okay, that's what we do. So if we go into the budget, let's see what John and Rebecca Jones are working with. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put this in here so that we can see what's going on. We're loading the program up. Okay. All right, come on, load. There it is. So it's loaded up. So John, okay, here's John. He gets paid bi-weekly. Okay, $950 bi-weekly. And Rebecca gets paid $700 weekly. Okay. Rebecca's on a 52-week payment schedule. And John is on a 26 payment schedule. 26 payments. And Rebecca is 52 payments. All right. So we're going to take an average, because we're taking an average of not just 4 months, but 4.3 months, 4.3 months on average, because there's 2 months out of the year where you're going to get 5 weeks. Okay. So we're going to give them an average based on 4.3 weeks in a month. And that means their average income for the month is $5,091.66. Now, John and Rebecca Jones put all of their bills into the program, all of their bills. All right. And not only do they put all of their bills into the program, one of their bills is how much we want to spend on our family each month just for some fun. You see, with the P.I.L. method, you're able to put that into the program and say, you know what? How much money do we want to spend on ourselves to create memories for our family? Okay. That's number one. You can live well. You don't have to sacrifice lifestyle. You can live well while you're getting out of debt. You don't have to stay home and not go anywhere, not do anything. I see you, Mr. Mac. I see you. All right. You don't have to drive a 30-year-old car. You don't have to eat beans and rice. You don't every day. You don't have to cut up your credit cards. You don't even have to sell pizzas at night. Just like I said in the video, you don't have to do any of that. You can live well while you're getting out of debt, because we're going to track all of your spending, even your lifestyle spending that we're going to plug into the program. You tell us how much you want to spend on your family. We don't tell you. You tell us. So here's what happens. Because of that, the average income for John and Rebecca Jones is $5,091.66. So you can see they're not rich. Okay. Their average bills each month, including the money they spend on themselves, is $3,760.51. That's the average. So their average discretionary, or money that's left over, is $1,331.15. That's the amount that we work with. Okay. And we don't put it on debt every single month. I'll show you what we do with that, but I needed you to see what we're working with. Okay. And that John and Rebecca aren't rich. They just have found a way to track their income and their expenditures, because most people have no idea. You know what I mean? People I talk to, they don't even know how much money they make, let alone how much they're spending every single month. They have no idea. But this way, they get to track it. All right. So when we track that, I need you to see what else we're looking at. Let's take a look at their accounts. It's everything that either pays interest or pays them interest or carries interest. All right, that costs interest. So here's their bank accounts. Okay, they have $500 in checking. They've got a little over $5,000 in savings. They have $25,000 auto loan at 4%. Visa at 21%. They owe $2,000 on it, and they have a $200,000 mortgage at a whopping 6%. All right, so there you go. That's what they have. A total of $227,000. That's how much they owe. Now, focus in on this because this is a key point. With the income they have, they qualified for these loans. With the income they have now, they qualify for these loans, which is going to take them about 30 years to pay off. Okay, if they do it the bank's way. But I need you to understand, with the income they have now, they qualified for these loans. But with the income they have now, our program has already calculated that John and Rebecca Jones, upper right-hand corner, everybody, they're going to save at least $179,722 in interest. And because of their interest savings, they will be able to pay off with that same budget where they qualified for the loans to pay it off in 30 years. That same budget is going to pay these loans off in 7.8. There it is, 7.8 years. Now, Don, how in the world, if they qualified to pay off their loan in 30 years, how are they going to use the same budget to pay the debt off? Because I showed you, this is why I needed to show you first that small amounts of money kill a lot of interest. All right. So let's go back to the action plan so we can break this down for you. We're going to go step by step. We're starting out the program here in November. Okay. And you can always see 3 months at a time. So we're going to see November, December, and January. There you go. We can see 3 months at a time. So anytime you do anything in the program, anytime you either make money or spend money, just tell the program. So John on 11/1 gets his paycheck of $950. So he just tells the program by clicking on this, he clicks execute, and it tells the program, we are going to, you've made your $950. All right. And then it disappears. Where did it go? If we look at the accounts, we're going to go back to the accounts and we could see where we started off at $500 in the virtual checking account in the program. That $950 was added to his $500. So now they have $1,450 in their virtual bank account because that's exactly what they have in their real bank account. By you updating the program, the program knows how much money you have. All right. But the savings didn't change. So now what's next? Well, the mortgage needs to be paid, right? So now John and Rebecca Jones have enough in their checking account to pay the mortgage. So when they tell the program to they're just going to make minimum payments on the mortgage this month. That's it. Minimum payments on the mortgage. When they do, that amount is subtracted from their checking account. Let's take a look at the checking account and see. Subtracted. Oh, they have $250 in the checking account. Okay. So because we subtracted the mortgage payment, their utility payment is $200. So when we subtract that, and they pay the utilities, and then they have to subtract that same $200 from their bank account. So the program, again, knows exactly how much they have in their bank account. Well, listen, on the 5th, Rebecca gets a paycheck. $700 goes into the bank account, and they'll click on that one and make that disappear. But I need you to see this. Do you see these arrows? This is the program. This is the program setting you up for success. Remember, John and Rebecca Jones put all of their debt and their payments into this thing. So the program does math and it says, once you put that in, do you realize you have $100.90 in your checking account you don't need for anything else this month, including the money you want to spend on your family just to have some fun? You have $100.90 you don't need in your checking account. So the program says, take money from, here's your from column. The first column is the from column. The next column is the to column. Take money from checking and put it into savings, $100.90. The program tells you exactly how much to move, on what day to move it on. And don't send any less or any more. $100.90, stop. Send that to your checking account. From your checking to your savings, and let the money sit in savings until the program says to take it out. All right. So now they're going to pay the phone bill. Rebecca gets another check. Oh, there's the little arrows again. Take money from checking and put it in savings, $389.49. Why? Because they don't need this money for anything else. The math has already been done. The reason why it feels like paycheck to most people is because they keep spending beyond their bills, because they're not tracking how much they're spending. If they track it, I don't care if you just put it down on a piece of paper, how much you're spending. Write it down each time you spend something. Guess what? You'll spend less. I don't know why that works, but once you start tracking it, you automatically spend less. Okay? Because now you have to write it down. You have to account for it. Every single penny. Watch this. So now we're going to put $389.49 in the savings account. John gets a paycheck. They're going to buy their food. They're going to buy food for the month. Rebecca gets another paycheck. They're going to put $51 on the Visa. That's the minimum payment. They're going to pay the auto loan, $460. They're going to get another paycheck and another paycheck. All right. And then they're going to pay some other bills out of this amount of money, and they're going to pay for their fun out of that money as well. So that's $1,300. And that's their month. Now, what happens when life gets in the way and we have more expenses in November than they planned for? Then the program says, well, obviously, we don't have $100.90 to put in the bank this week because you had a $50 expenditure we weren't counting on. So we're only going to put $50.90 in the savings account. Does that make sense, everybody? Whatever you have left, that's what the program works with. So if you're in your car and you're using Waze to get from one place to another, and then you hit a detour, your GPS in your car is going to recalculate because now we're off the prescribed route. And then the program is going to recalculate, get you back on the route as soon as it can so that you can make up for some lost time. So your GPS is going to try to get you to your destination as close to the original time as possible because it's going to find the best route for you. So if you have in your program here, if you have some unintended expenses, then the program says, well, based on what we have here, we're going to do this instead, and you're still going to get out of debt close to on time. But here's what something else you need to consider, folks. They're going to be out of debt in 7.8 years. Okay? So instead of 30. So if life gets in the way and they add on 0.2 of a month, which means now they're going to be getting out of debt in 8 years, guess what else is going to happen? In those 8 years, John and Rebecca Jones will make more money because of raises. And chances are they're going to beat that 7.8 years and knock it down by another year just with the increase in paychecks. I can't help myself. Listen, I just get excited every time we get to talk about this. So watch what else happens. So Don, why are we putting just minimum payments on the debt? Why are we just putting minimum payments on the debt when we're putting money away in savings and just keeping it there? You know, their savings account is only making 0.1%. Why are we storing up money there when we could just easily put it on the debt? Because the program is doing the math and saying, we're going to put this much money on the debt at this time because we're going to optimize the interest savings. What does optimize interest savings mean? It means this. We're going to optimize interest savings by doing this. We're going to figure out how much interest we could save per dollar. Oh man, I've got somebody else on the stage. I got Original Simmons on the stage. Thank you for coming up. Do you have a question or a comment at this time? All right, just go ahead and hit that microphone and unmute yourself. Glad to have you here. Good morning. Oh, I guess they didn't want to talk. Oh, that's okay. Listen, when you're ready to talk, just put something in the chat and producers will take care of that, okay? So sometimes people hit the wrong button. They say, well, what's this button do? And it brings them to the stage and they weren't prepared. That's okay. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's do this. We're going to take a look at something else in the program. I'm going to change this window. I'm going to change this window to next debt transfer. A debt transfer is something that the program does. It says, we're going to keep this money for this amount of time, and then we're going to apply it to the debt at this time out of your savings account. Okay. Every program out there, all right. Whoo, Lord have mercy. Every program I've ever seen focuses on the wrong thing. It says, how much money can we throw at the debt? How much money can we throw at the debt? Here's what the P.I.L.L method does. Zero in on this. What is the least amount you can pay? What is the least amount you can pay to get the greatest savings in interest per dollar? What is the least amount you can pay? And we're taking it out of savings. What we're not doing is telling your family, we can't afford to go on vacation. You can't afford to take ballet. You can't afford to do the travel baseball team. You can't afford to do the extracurricular activities at school because mom and dad are too busy paying off the debt because somebody told us we need to take all of our money and throw it at the debt and get out of debt as soon as possible. And by the time we're out of debt, it won't take us 30 years, but we'll be out of debt in 15. But by the time we're out of debt in 15, Bobby and Susie, guess what? You'll be ready for high school. And we did not provide a lot of the memories that we could have provided for you because somebody told us we need to throw all of our money at the debt until we get out. Now we can start living. Horrible, horrible. What if we could do something like this? Instead of taking all the money and throwing it at the debt, why don't we find the smallest amount that we can put on the debt and figure out how much interest we could save and do that? And that way we can plug into the budget how much we want to spend on the family so Bobby and Susie can have some fun along the way and create some memories. I like that. Don't you? Do you like that? So the program says, here's how much money after all your bills are paid and after all of your lifestyle spending, we project that you will have saved up by, they start out on the 11th, in November. By December 17, they should have $2,570 in savings they can put towards debt reduction out of the savings account, not out of their regular budget. And they didn't even cut up their credit cards. Watch what happens. Okay, watch what happens here. If we do this, we're going to scroll down, and I'm just going to go straight here. We'll scroll down and go straight here and look at, oh, we're paying the bills, we're getting in income, and the program is putting away money putting away money, put it in savings, continue to pay the bills, continue to buy food, and put money in savings. And then finally, guess what? We're going to take money out of the savings account on 12/17. We're going to take out of the savings and put it on the Visa, $2,119.97, and pay the Visa to zero. Boom, just like that. Out of the savings account. Not just a little bit more every single month and pay that off over a year. No, save it up after you've done your lifestyle spending, after you've had some fun and paid the rest of your bills, paid minimum on the loans, and you're able to save up this money faster, put it on the Visa all at one time in about 2 or 3 months. Paid off to zero. Boom, done. Then we're going to let me show you something here. Let me show you something. All right. Sovereignty says, is there a link to this spreadsheet program? There is a video on it. There is a video that you can watch. All right. On our YouTube channel. All right. At the next break, I'll get the video. We'll put it in so that you can watch the video, Sovereignty. How would you like that? Okay. Or you can go to our YouTube channel and search for opportunity cost calculator, and you should be able to find that video that way. Well, I'll get that link for you. All right. So now we're going to pay this off. Okay. And there we go. And once we do that, I need you to see how much interest we saved. $1,851. $1,851. You see, let me make this just a little bit bigger, because some of you may not be using full screen. If you use full screen, it'll come up bigger. $1,851. That is crucial, because the program only makes decisions based on how much interest you could save at any one time. $1,851. In other words, if we were to pay the $2,000 off using minimum payments on this loan, we would also have to give the bank $1,851 in interest as well. But because we paid off the money all at once, we don't have to pay that long-term interest, that future interest cost. We can save that. It's saved up. Okay. We don't have to pay that. And then it gets added over here in the actual interest savings column right there. Actual interest savings column. All right. So when we scroll back down, after we pay off the Visa, then the program says, now remember, John and Rebecca Jones have over $5,000 in savings, over $5,000 in savings. They've only put $2,000 on the debt. And now they're going to take $550.03. What? $550.03. Not $551, not $555. They've got $5,000 in debt, and the program says stop here. $550.03, because this is the optimum amount of money to pay on the optimum day. I need to show you what I mean by optimum day. Their mortgage is due on the 1st of the month. They already have the money in savings, but the program says, wait for 16 days. And then put the extra $550.03 on the mortgage, because this is the optimum day and the optimum amount to save this much interest. $2,715 in interest savings. Okay, that's how much interest they save. So if they save that much money, then Don, if they have $5,000 in their savings account, well, wouldn't they save more money if they took more money out and put it on the debt? Well, I need to show you this. I'm going to put a calculator on the screen. I'm going to show you why it is important. And here's what we're not being taught. Can I ask you a question? It's going to make this clear. If you like grapes, and I like grapes, okay, I like grapes. But if grapes are $10 a pound this week at the store, are you buying grapes this week? If grapes are $10 a pound this week, are you buying grapes this week? Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Okay. So you know what your dollar is doing at the store. You don't want to take 10 of your dollars to buy a pound of grapes. You just don't want to do that. Okay. So we need to pay attention to how much interest we're paying each and every month. So if I put $1 on here, I need to know how much interest I'm saving per dollar, because I know how much I know what $1 will do for me in buying grapes. I know how much gas I want to get per dollar. I know how much my gas is. All right. I know how much, whatever I am buying, I know what my dollar is going to do. And I want to spend as few of my dollars as I can to get what I want. What you want, ladies and gentlemen, is interest savings. So you want to come up with the least amount of money you can pay to get the most interest savings per dollar. So if we're going to save $2,715 for this much money, we can figure out how much we're saving per dollar. Let's do that. We're going to put into the calculator $2,715, and we're going to divide it by 550.03. And we're saving equals $4 and 4.936. And because of the 6, we have to round this up to a 4. That's how the banks do it. $4.94. Amazing. That means if all you put on your mortgage extra is $1, that means you just made it impossible for the bank to charge you $4.93. That's almost a 500% return on your money. Oh my goodness. 493% return on your money. If I put $1 on, not 500, but just one, I could save $4.93 per 94 cents per dollar. That is huge. Nobody talks about that. Dave doesn't talk about it. Dave Ramsey doesn't talk about it. Susie Orman doesn't talk about it. No one else talks about it. Saving. How much interest can I save per dollar? Because you have to establish a baseline. Whatever you're doing, you have to establish a baseline. Why do you establish a baseline? What is it how much interest can I save? So when you establish a baseline, then you know how you can improve your results. How can I save even more money per dollar? But once you figure out what is the maximum amount of interest you could save per dollar, any more money works against you. That's the law of diminished return. And the law of diminished return works for everything else. Do you know why when you get your new car and it tells you this is your gas mileage you're going to get out of this car? But it also tells you this is your gas mileage you'll get out of this car if you drive at these speeds. If you drive faster than these speeds, you will not get all of that gas mileage out of a gallon of gas. So I can get there faster, but it's going to cost me more money because it costs more gas to go faster. So anything else you do, listen, you're making soup for your family. Isn't there you want to put the least amount of salt in the soup to get the maximum taste out of the soup? Because when you put too much salt in the soup, you can't take it out. You can add more water, but then it waters it down the soup. You see what I'm saying? Listen, you like jerk chicken? Too much jerk seasoning ruins the chicken. Anything else you can think of. Listen. This is one of my favorites. When my clothes were really dirty, okay, and my washing machine calls for a quarter cup of detergent. but my clothes were really dirty because I was working outside. So I put it in there, and then I put in 3 cups of detergent instead of a quarter cup that is called for. I know some people that cringed when I said that. I just made that story up. I didn't actually do it. But do you see my point? More doesn't mean better. There's a point at which more is too much and it works against you. Watch this. So we're going to tell the program, we already know that we can save $4. I'm going to put that in my notes. $4.94, 4.94. That's how much we're saving per dollar at 550.03. But what if I tell the program, you know what? I'm going to do 1,500. Easy. 1,500 instead of doing 2,715. Let's see how much the program will calculate and put up here in our actual interest savings. When I tell the program, we're going to pay 1,550.03. Oh, by the way, John Rebecca Jones already had over $5,000 in savings. So why wait till the 17th? Let's just pay it on the 1st when we pay the mortgage. They're going to pay more and they're going to pay it early. They figure based on how they've been taught that this is better deal for them. Okay. So 550 of 1550.03, we're going to execute that. And then the program is going to figure out how much interest we're saving. $7,541 in interest. Whew. When their actual interest savings matches their potential interest savings, John and Rebecca will be out of debt in about 7.8 years. Okay. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at what they just did. Okay. So we're going to bring our calculator back. All right. And they put 15. Here's their interest savings now. Here's their interest savings, $7,541. That's huge. You know why else this is huge? Because no bank in the history of banking that I know of, if you give them extra money, have they ever sent you a receipt saying, thank you for this extra payment. Here's how much interest you saved. What if you knew that putting this kind of money on it was putting a little bit of money will save this huge amount of interest? Don't you think more people would be doing it? Focus on the interest they could save? Oh man, this is why they don't tell you. This is why it's not taught in schools. This is why your real estate agent isn't taught this in their classes. This is why your loan officers aren't actually taught how a mortgage actually works to get their license, because they would let the information out to you and you would start saving big money in interest on these loans. This is why they don't tell you. They don't tell you because they don't know, because their employers don't teach them. Watch this. So we're going to take that. We're going to take that and divide it by the 1550.03, because we just added 1,000 to it. Okay. $1,550.03. Okay. We divide it by that and it equals 486. What did we get? 494 before. Now we're only saving 486 per dollar. What? We're saving less per dollar? Listen, folks, you tell me on anything else on the planet, do you want to save more or do you want to save less for every dollar you pay? Because if you save the maximum amount, it sets you up for the next payment down the road. You're in a better place for the next payment. Doesn't that make sense? So if you have a program that takes all of the guesswork out and says, move this much money on this day on this loan, you're going to save the maximum amount of interest per dollar. Well, we're not done showing you why the debt snowball is inaccurate. I need you to go ahead. Listen, can we get some more people to hit that thumbs up? Oh my goodness. We got several people in here. Let's hit that thumbs up. Okay. So, and don't forget, click on the join and see what that's about. Why don't you join the P.I.L. method and help us to get the information out there? All right, go ahead and do that. Here's what you need to see. What if I need to go back? We're going to go to accounts. We're going to go to accounts. and say, well, the program already told us to pay off the credit card. We know that if we pay off that credit card, that's gone. Our minimum payment is $51. The debt snowball says, take that $51 and put it on the next debt you want to pay off next. Okay. So the debt snowball, it says, we need to put that on the car loan. We need to focus on the car loan because it's smaller than the mortgage. Okay. And pay off that car as soon as we can. And if we do that, listen, we could take this $460 plus the $51 and put it on the mortgage every single month, which will help us to get out of debt faster and cheaper. All of that is true. All of it is true. But no one has pointed out to you, if I do it this way, is there going to be a difference in the optimal amount of money I could save? Well, let's see. Okay. Let me show you how robust this program is. I want to show you this first. We're going to go over here and click on preferences. Bring up preferences and look over to the left. It says here, program focus settings. We're going to click on that. The program focus is set to automatic. When the focus is set to automatic, the program will automatically optimize the order you pay off the debts to become debt-free because it is AI powered. It looks at millions and millions of different ways you can take your money and pay off these debts, and looks at all the different ways you can pay this one off first, or this one off third, or this one off second, and this one off first. It looks at every possible conceivable way you can pay this debt off and says, we're going to figure this out for you automatically. But if you don't want automatic, you can say, I want to do the snowball method. I paid off the credit card. Now I want to tell the program I want to pay off the car loan first. I want to pay it to zero, and then we'll focus on the mortgage. All right. So you could just tell the program, I don't want automatic. I want to focus on the auto loan next. It's totally up to you. So I need you to focus in on the 7.8 years up here. Watch this. And the $179,000 in interest savings we're going to get if we follow the program. All right. So let's go ahead and choose auto loan. This is why I don't like the debt snowball. Watch this. Auto loan. Next. Calculate. Okay. Oh, still 7.8 years. But we're down to $177,000 in interest savings. I'm going to pay off the car 2 years early by doing this, but it's going to cost me overall at least $2,000 in interest I don't need to pay. And that's just one thing that I did wrong. I'm not moving the right amount of money at the right time. Not only that, but if I try to do this on my own, then I'm going to pay whatever I want to pay whenever I can pay it on that car loan to pay it off early. If I put it in the program is going to try to adjust for me and give me the right amounts, so at least I can get close to the $179,000 in interest I was supposed to save. But if I don't have the program, I won't even come this close. I won't even come this close because I don't know how much to pay and when to pay to optimize my interest savings. But I just need you to know that what happens when you take things out of order. It says, now, Don, why in the world, if I pay the car off early, why is it costing me $2,000 extra in interest? Well, you know what? You can actually take a look in our program by doing this. But if you don't like your results, you can always send it back to automatic. And then the program says, okay, we'll put you back on track. Don't worry about it. You can still save $179,000 in interest instead of $177,000. Okay, $2,000 extra. All right. Let the program tell you when to pay the car off. Let the program tell you what to do. Now, I need you to see, if you're asking, why does it cost $2,000 extra? Here's why. I need you to see every loan has its own amortization schedule, and our program keeps up with it. When you pay extra on a loan, it destroys the old amortization schedule and you need a new one. Anytime you pay extra, I don't care if it's even an extra penny, it destroys the old amortization schedule and you need a brand new one. Our program creates one every single time you do a prepayment. Every single time this program tells you to put something extra on, it creates a brand new amortization schedule so that you can optimize. It comes up with the least amount you can put on the debt on the right day to save the most in interest per dollar. Keep that in mind. No other program even talks about it, let alone does it. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at open up the loans itself. So let's take a look at the car loan. And I need you to see way over to the right. How much is the interest payment on the car loan? It's $83.33. $83.33. So we can start saving those $80 interest payments by paying off the car. And listen, and $80 in savings, that's good. I love it. Saving money. I love saving money. But look at this, $83. Look how much you have to prepay, $377.08 to save a whole interest payment. Now you can save a piece of an interest payment. You don't have to save a whole interest payment. You can save half. If I prepaid half, I can save half the interest. But to save a whole interest payment, it costs $377.08 extra on top of my car payment to save an extra $83.33 worth of interest I don't have to pay. Now, let's take a look at the mortgage so you can do the comparison. And I need you to focus in on this. And this is what Dave Ramsey is not telling you. And I'm sure some of his people have seen my videos, but he still keeps teaching the debt snowball. And this is what is devastating about the debt snowball, what you're getting ready to see right now. We're going to take a look at the mortgage. Go back to accounts. Take a look at the mortgage. And in this mortgage, we're going to click on history here. How much is the interest payment on the mortgage? $991.25. While you're focusing on the car loan to pay it off early so you can feel good, what we need to be focusing on is the $83 it's costing you, or $83 is saving you every time you pay extra on the car loan. And you're taking all that extra money and focusing it on the car loan and totally ignoring the mortgage that's costing you $991.25 a month. And it goes down every month after that, but it's still over $900 for the next 7 years. Why is Dave telling you to do this? Why? So we can feel good, but it costs so much money. This is why. And how much do I have to prepay? I had to prepay over $300 on the car loan just to save $83. I can prepay $207.85 on this loan and save myself and my family $991.25 in interest. I never have to pay the bank. Folks, if this does not show why the debt snowball is inaccurate, I don't know what else does. I just don't know what else does. Okay? I just don't know. Oh man, I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed. Wow, this continues to happen. If you've learned something today, make some acknowledgement. Make some acknowledgement if you've learned something today. Put it in the chat. I heard about the debt snowball. you know, and it was a good idea, but now I know that we need to do something else. We need to do something else. Okay. So I promised. Kevin says thank you. Kevin says thank you. All right. Share this with your friends, Kevin. So I promised that I would get the link. I'm going to pull this up. All right. And get the links here. All right. And here is, where is it? Testimonial, the stories. All right. No. Okay. Opportunity cost calculator. I thought I had it. In my notes. Okay. Opportunity cost calculator. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to put this in here so we can send this out to you. Copy the link. And we're going to make sure you get it. All right. And I didn't forget you. So there we go. Put this over here. Boom. And everybody can use this. All right. This is not just for sovereignty. Okay. You can use it too. It's a 20-minute video that goes over the most powerful debt reduction, money management, wealth creating program in the entire world. Nothing, and I guarantee you, nothing beats this. Nothing beats it. Okay. Not only do you get this, okay? Not only do you get this, it says, Don, is there anybody else involved in the P.I.L.L method besides you? Is there anybody else on staff? All right. Are you trying to do the whole thing by yourself? Let's go back and take a look at the program again. We're going to take a look at the program again. I'm going to show you this. Okay. All right. So we're going to look. All right. I need you to see over on the right-hand side. Do you see where this headset is on the program? Let's go ahead and show that. We're going to show that for everybody so you can see what we're talking about. All right. Show the headset. All right. Let's put that on back on the screen. All right. And okay, what's going on here? I can't get it back on. I can't get it back on. There it is. I got it. All right. So if you go down here, take a look at the headset. Okay. You click on the headset. I need you to see this. Click on the headset. This little window pops up. Here's your 800 number. This is a lifetime customer service number, and it's live customer service. It's not email customer service. It's not leave a message customer service. You call this number between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Okay. That would be 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. Okay. All right. All right. And that would be in Eastern Time. It would be what? It would be 2 hours difference, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. You call this number. Somebody answers the phone and answers your questions and teaches you how to use this program. We have a whole staff that does this. Okay. Plus, our program is cloud-based. So we have a whole staff of people who maintain our computer servers and upgrade the program every now and then. So, and all the updates on the program are free forever on our program. There's so much else going on here that is amazing. So, yes, you have plenty of help. Not only that, but you get a coach as well. A coach that's going to coach you on how to optimize your interest savings and all these buttons that I was pushing on here so that we can figure out which is the best thing to do. Your coach is going to work with you so that you can come up with a plan that is specific to you. Dave and Susie give you a program that they're giving to everybody. We tailor this program to you and your specific needs. It is the only one in the world like it. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I've had such a good time with you all today. You know, let me go and put this on the screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to put this on the screen. This ICE 10K. Oops, ice10k.com. There it is. ice10k.com. There it is. And the first picture you see is Dr. Eric Thomas. Dr. Eric Thomas, who actually is E.T. the hip hop preacher, who says he used the pill method. We're going to hear from him in a minute. He uses the pill method to pay off his debt early. All right. And if you go down underneath his picture, you'll see get a savings and earnings report. Click that button, ice10k.com, ice10k.com. We have it scrolling across the screen as well. All right. Don't waste another dollar paying off the wrong debt. Stop using the debt snowball or the avalanche method. It's hurting you. All right. You don't want to use that. It's hurting you. So let's take a look at what you can get. Get your free savings report. What are you going to get with that? You're going to know the month, day, and year you could be debt free and how much interest you could save. And then we're going to take that money and show you what you could do to pay off your debt early. What could you do with that money that you didn't pay an interest and you invested it in your family? And a lot of families could make over $1 million with the interest they're no longer paying the bank if they would invest it in their families. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely amazing. So it's 2 steps here, folks. Just follow both steps and then you'll get that. And then once you click submit, okay, some people are clicking save and they think we're getting it. No, save. If you save it, it's for you to come back later and maybe finish up. Maybe you didn't have all the data that you wanted. You save it and you can come back. But when you're done, make sure you click submit and send that to us. And somebody from our staff will then get with you, confirm the numbers, and then you can get your savings report. And if you want, you can get a consultation. Our consultations are only $150 for an hour. And if you don't get $150 worth of benefit out of that consultation and seeing how this program can work for you, just tell us. We'll send it back before the call is over. Well, we actually do it on Zoom. Before the Zoom is completed, you say, it's not worth $150. We'll send it right back. Everything we do at the P.I.L. Method is guaranteed. Everything is guaranteed. Okay? It either works or it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, then don't pay. Everything we do is guaranteed. We have been in business for 18 years, and guess what? Go look us up on Better Business Bureau. A+ rating, not a single complaint in 18 years. There you go. So go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and get that. Not only that, but what else are we looking at here? All right. We talked about getting the book. All right. So we're going to put the book on the screen. If you click that button to get the book, here's what you could see. Get the book. And it is the only book on Amazon, that even begins to talk about this subject. Out of 35 million titles, this is the only book that gives you a roadmap to, it's not a how-to book. It's not a how-to. It is a what do I need type of book. What mindset do I need to understand that the old way of thinking about my money is not adequate? We need a new way of thinking about the money. Here, we need a new financial knowledge, and we need some technology now on our side to beat the bank's technology so we can beat them at their own game. So it talks about what you need. It doesn't give you step by step. Okay, it's not a step by step book. It is a mind changing book. It is a paradigm shifting type of book that you can teach to your children. Okay, there you go. And the last thing you need to see on the screen is this: become an affiliate. Okay, become an affiliate. And once you click on that button to become an affiliate, it's right down here at the bottom. You fill this thing out. It takes about 15 seconds. You can make, as an affiliate of the P.I.L. method, you can make between $300 and $3,000 a month just sharing the YouTube channel with others. And we'll give you instructions on how to do that. The instructions come out once a week. Once you become an affiliate, we'll send those instructions out to you. Not right away. We're putting in a system where you'll get it immediately. All right. But we send them out in batches. So we send it out. We do it in batches. But we're going to put in a system where when you become an affiliate, you get the instructions right away. But you'll get those instructions. And then once or twice a month, we actually hold trainings. So we're going to let you know when the trainings are. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here today. I've had a good time. I hope you're understanding the difference between the debt snowball and the P.I.L. method. I want to go back over the Ken Russell says, can I set a debt-free date and reverse engineer? No, you don't want to do that. Because it's all based on optimization of interest savings. Stop focusing on when I can get out of debt. Focus on how cheaply I can get out of debt. And it takes a lot of math to do that. If you set a date and try to match the date, you will spend more money in interest than you need to. Now, for those of you that the date is important, we can help you to reach a date. It may cost you more interest. And then you'll be able to see, well, if I focus on my date as opposed to saving interest, then I'm okay with paying the extra interest because now you know how much extra interest is going to cost you. You see, you're not flying blind anymore. You're not in the dark anymore. The light of day is shining on your finances, because now if you want to focus on a date, then you know what it's going to cost. All right. So there you are, Ken. All right. Serenity said her mind is blown. Ken says, oh, listen, I'm not a genius. Let me tell you something. Says Don, you're a genius. No, I'm going to tell you right now. I am autistic. You know, I'm on the spectrum. All right, on the autism spectrum, ASD. And when I look at an amortization schedule, I see pictures and patterns that people don't see. Okay, I cannot claim. Listen, I wish I could claim that I did all of this on my own. All right, but I'm wired that way. I was born this way. When I look at that, that's what I see, and I'm just explaining to you all what I see. I can't take credit for that. It's just the way it is. So it is because because I have ASD, autism spectrum disorder, high functioning autism. I can do this. All right. And that's why sometimes I have trouble finding my words, because that's how my autism manifests itself. All right. Jarvis Taylor says the P.I.L. method is a game changer. Thank you. Ken Russell says I have learned. All right. Sovereignty, listen, give me all kind of stars. I am so glad that you all were able to see and understand this. I see some people signing up for the become an affiliate already. All right, folks. Do we have what our next week's show, next Sunday? Next Friday, I'm going to be off, folks. I'm going to be out of town. All right. Next Friday, I'm going to be off, but we'll be back here next Sunday. All right. And okay. So let me see here. We're going to have a special guest on. I'm going to let you know that we're going to be talking about wholesaling next week. Next Sunday, we're going to be talking about wholesaling. So if you want to get into real estate, wholesaling is a good way. And we're going to show you how you can, we're going to have a wholesaling expert on, and we're going to be going over several different things for you next week. All right. And we're going to get that done for you. And then we're going to sprinkle in some P.I.L.L method to see how you can make even more money once you jump into real estate. All right. So next week, a wholesaling masterclass on next Sunday at 8:30 Central, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. All right. Don't miss it. Wholesaling masterclass, an hour and a half to 2 hours. So straight masterclass. Stuff you would have to pay thousands of dollars to learn. We're going to have it for you right here next week. Oh, man. Whew. I'm kind of worn out. What about you? I want to thank all of you. I want to thank our production staff. I want to thank every single one of you who participated in the chat. Also, go ahead before we get out of here. Give us that thumbs up. All right. Give us that thumbs up. We only have 6 and we've had several people in here. All right. It says, Ken Russell says, you are a genius to me the way God made you. Listen, I'll accept that. I will accept that. Thank you so very much, Ken. I appreciate you. And let's see, what else? What else do we need to talk about before I go? Because sometimes I forget. The production staff has to help me to remember stuff. But anyway, Amari says she gives me some hand claps. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead, be ready for next week. Remember, Friday we're going to be off, but on Wednesdays, this is what I was supposed to tell you. They tell me, don't forget to tell them about Wednesday. We're on Wednesday, but we have a replay. So oldies but goodies on Wednesdays. But in this coming week, we're going to have a replay on Wednesday and on Friday. On Wednesday and on Friday. But on Sunday, we're going to prepare for wholesaling. Oh, man. Wholesaling masterclass. I am so excited. It's the first masterclass we've had on something other than the P.I.L.L method. Oh, man. I think you're going to love it. So listen, we'll see you next week. We're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas before we go. But I think I've covered all the questions, all the comments. Thank you, everybody. And let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas. And goodbye until next week. Until Sunday. See you. Bye-bye.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.